All right, we are live right now from the MLB Winter meeting. Stepped away for a moment. Not even to our full setup here because we're getting set up for tomorrow, which will be here with a lot of news and possibilities, and we'll break down everything that's going on. But
Unbelievable. Unbelievable news that broke while we were just having some barbecue.
yeah, so if you guys new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. So to give you guys a little bit of context, so we're right here. We're setting up.
Put me in the frame, man.
I'm sorry, you got a big ass head too.
I mean, I love getting all up.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta be like all up on you.
Well, you already are. But anyway,
I
I digress. So here's the thing. So we were able to give you guys the backstory of being here on the day to day. So we, under the impression there was going to be a deal done earlier in the day. It was roughly going to be, just say it's around 6 p.m. You're hearing, okay, this evening, early evening, it's going to be done. Then the time went on, and it was roughly around 8:30, and then the rumblings were growing that we're going to have to wait one more day. That things weren't figuring out, things were waiting, and all of a sudden, there was some things starting to murmur that it was very close. And the thing that we were hearing above all, so when we tried to give you guys context early on, it was going to be a New York team, and the Yankees were always going to be trying to play catch up, and that's exactly what happened here. The Yankees even offered a deal, right? What, Brad? 16 years?
$760 for 16 years, and the Mets come in with $5 million more in one less year, and that's where Juan Soto ends up. Ken Rosenthal puts out the Mets can void Soto's opt out after 5 years by escalating his average annual value from 51 to 55 million over the last 10 years. That was according to Jorge Castillo. Just some unbelievable stuff coming out. The biggest shock to me too was that none of this is deferred.
Yeah, no deferred money. So for those that don't understand,
$65 million, and none of it is deferred.
And so for those that don't understand with that, when you're looking at what Shohei Ohtani got last year, where the majority of the contract, 600 plus million for Shohei, is going to be paid out to him after his career with the Dodgers ends. Juan Soto is not going into that. He is going to get paid that amount of money. But look, we already understood this, right? Steve Cohen came out and said, whether he said it the exact words or everything that he's implied, he was going to take whatever it took to get Juan Soto. Right. And in this case, it was a close deal, and it came down essentially, where did Juan want to be? Did he want to chase the money a little bit more in one less year? Which, let's just be honest, 15 or 16 years, the difference is you're going to be 40 years old when this contract's done, 40 plus. So here's what happens now. The Mets are feeling very good. They've added some pieces. They had a Cinderella type run this season. Now you add a premier bat. The Mets should be a very big force here over the next X amount of years. And you can say and think about, was he worth the money, how all these things are. Juan Soto is worth the money. Now, am I saying he's going to be good for 15 years? Hell no, we're not saying it's going to be 15 years. But what for the Mets are trying to accomplish, they got a guy that can help them win next year.
Well, and this isn't the only money they've spent. I mean, they have Clay Holmes now in the rotation. You got Francisco Lindor that's also still in the lineup, by the way. Yeah. So the Mets are going to be in it for a long time.
Yeah. So it's and also though, and this is maybe good for some fans out there, you know, the Yankees really wanted that money, or they really wanted to make that deal, and maybe that would have dented them into that conversation. But what happens though is that the Mets are the ones that take the money. Now the Yankees get some freed up space, and it kind of leads to what the next questions are going to be. So we'll kind of explain all that here in a second here. Hey guys, we're going to explain all that here in a minute. So again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's walk you through on our perspective here now of being in this event. So we went to dinner. Okay, this is probably the cool part here that you guys might want to hear. We went to dinner, and we went to this barbecue place right down the street. Very good. Have to get barbecue in Texas, you know, chef's kiss. But we had a chance. We walked right in, and earlier on in the evening, we talked to John Morosi, MLB insider. First off,
literally, so we weren't even planning on having dinner with John Morosi. It just so happened that he was also there at the same time that we were. And we had a great conversation.
And the context was we had talked to John early in the day for 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. And great guy. Honestly, genuine person that cares. And honestly, if you're wondering about how he is or who he is. He's a great guy, great reporter, journalist, but also better human. So we just had a great 20, 30-minute conversation with him before, and then he's there, and then we all sit down and we have dinner conversations about life, about the sport, about your passion for sports, baseball, the stress and strain of what you go through. So it's great conversation. Then we're packing up our stuff. We're heading out of the restaurant to all walk back together. And the news breaks that Juan Soto is going to the New York Mets.
John Morosi was so involved in what was going on, glued to his phone as we're walking down the sidewalk, and he's not paying attention to anything. Ryan ends up having to tell him to not run into a telephone pole, essentially. There's the anchor cable, not to run into it. John makes this crazy matrix move. It was unbelievable. It's one of those I remember where I was and what I was doing kind of moment.
It was hilarious. And also when he's talking about that moment, so that there was a wire and a pole back to back, and John had his head down looking because he's got to get out the facts. He's checking it. And if you guys have seen the Happy Gilmore movie and the situation where Happy's about to get drilled by the car and it's like, Happy, look out. That situation, that moment, that's what happened with John Morosi, where I was like, John, look out, and then he, without like fully looking up, just dodges it. And he lived to tell the tale. He was just on TV. I think that they're rotating through reporters now on MLB Network. So that happens. We get back. And as we can show more perspective here, you got MLB Network and SNY, which is with the Mets specifically, that's right in the same area. And that's where a lot of people migrated. Now, a lot of people are at the bar. A lot of people are having a good time because that's also what the winter meetings are about. But in general here, you could see and sense excitement around a move being made here at the winter meetings. So what that kind of means moving forward, well, I think it means that we're going to see more guys go and they're going to be more aggressive. And Brad, this goes back to the same situation that I said in the video in the past. I said it this past week. I said it the week prior. Do not be surprised now if Anthony Santander ends up in New York Yankee.
And Corbin Burns. I mean, I think that now the Yankees were planning on spending $760 million, and now they have all this money that they could put elsewhere. So it wouldn't be a stretch at all for them to consider signing Santander and a big arm like Corbin Burns. I think it's very possible for something like that to take place.
And honestly, the Corbin Burns one would dig deeper in if he were to sign with New York. I still think he goes out west. I hear that Giants report. I still think an out west.
It would have to be a very big number for Corbin Burns to go to New York, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not, because money will talk, but also it's situational. And personally, I feel that Corbin, it's no secret he likes the West Coast, has more ties out there.
He's from there.
So it makes sense of where they're going to go. Now, having said that, what's going to happen here, what you're going to have to watch is the value of going to New York going to be higher? And I'm telling you, the Orioles would try to be aggressive for Corbin. That one would hurt more than Santander. Santander's price point and market now has skyrocketed.
Right.
And so when we see a deal that the Orioles has got for Tyler O'Neill, whatever Santander gets, I expect it to double.
Yes,
it could even be tripled. So when you're looking at what could happen, and it's a perfect fit in New York, and I'm sorry for O's fans here, I do believe that Anthony is going to – other teams are going to be in the mix, no doubt about it. But it just seems like if you're looking for an at-bat and you're looking for some place that makes a clear path to it, it's a clear path to the New York Yankees, which I know would – rub people a lot of wrong ways. So we'll see.
Tony's Scott Boras.
No, he's not.
He's not. Okay.
Not a Boras guy.
Okay.
So we'll figure out more.
So,
we'll figure out more as it goes, but we're seeing a lot of people starting to migrate, come around, and you can sense that they want to have more moves. So now I think what we're going to see, Brad, over the next few days, we're going to see a trickle-down effect of more and more people being more aggressive with situations. Now, I just saw that Michael Conforto there's a source, he's going to the Dodgers, 1 year, $17 million. Another outfield bat there, but another one that's still up for grabs. What about Teoscar Hernandez? His price point, just like Santander's, is going to be pretty high.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to see what's going on and how it's all going to shape up. So, it should be fun. And actually, Rolling with Walk, where we're located, so it's a giant hotel here. It's
very random.
So where we're located is right down the hall from where SiriusXM is, and where Odyssey and the NBC for NBC Bay for the San Francisco, maybe Oakland, the Oakland A's or A's cast. Sorry, no longer Oakland. And it just so happens that this thing right here just has the Orioles logo right there. So that's there. And no, it's at the we're at the Hilton Inn Hotel, Joe. Hilton Inn Hotel. So we're gonna have to see how it all plays out here, guys. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live from the winter meetings, and it really has been a whirlwind.
Dallas is buzzing.
It's buzzing, and in a good way. But one thing that we know that the winter meetings wants more of, it wants more action. It wants more juice. So this definitely gets it. And I'll tell you what, it definitely sets the scene a little bit more relaxed after this moment, because now you can move forward with the rest of the way. Like, think about this. You have everyone in the same spot, but a lot of people are being reluctant on making a move because they knew the teams wanted to be patient with the Juan Soto deal. Now the Juan Soto deal's done.
Stove's going to heat up.
First day is done. So here we go. And that's it. And so
you think we think it's possible we see a Juan Soto appearance here at the winter meetings?
So I know that they would love for him to have an interview here, and that's been talked about, by the way, of trying to get Soto up here.
We've seen that in the past with other big signings like that, so I figured it'd be worth asking that kind of question.
Yeah, so there's a chance that it would. And also, I did. I mean, there's a lot of different thoughts out there about the evaluation. The reality is Juan Soto now has the largest contract in professional sports history. And it's pretty remarkable to think about the way we've come and where it is. So very interesting to see. But yes, Laura, we're going to figure out if he lands. I'm sure Scott Boras will speak upcoming for tomorrow, what things are going to be going on, to give people an idea. All the managers are speaking here tomorrow, so every team's manager is going to be speaking. You're going to have a lot of the GMs around talking about the situations. It's just going to open up a lot of doors. And I think now it can allow GMs to move more frequently. The one thing I'd be curious, Brad, is maybe do we see teams get aggressive trying to make a trade this time? Does that come to fruition?
Yeah.
Maybe, but we'll have to see how that goes here. I'm glad this happened today. I'm glad it happened today.
You and me, but the true insiders, like the Jeff Passons. By the way, he was here today.
Yeah,
that's all he wanted to have happen today was the Juan Soto signing, and the John Morostis of the world. I think they're even happier so that they can get this behind them and get on with the rest of the winter meetings. So everybody around here is happy that Juan Soto signed tonight.
Oh, no doubt about it here. And so, Mitchell, appreciate you asking. We still have the normal live show tomorrow. Yes, we plan to go live at 3 p.m., but it's going to be contingent on some of our days. 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, Zach should be able to help facilitate the show. There is a chance that we'd have to run and go and handle what we have to handle.
Yeah.
But we will. There's a chance, too, we might be going live earlier in the day, too. It could be multiple pockets of being live. We're trying to be flexible with the schedule, and if we have a chance to sit down and talk with some of the GMs, managers, we want to try to make ourselves available to it. And also with some of the MLB network talent, like we talked about John Morosi, we're going to set up a time now. This helps us.
Yeah.
We're going to get John on to talk about the situation, talk about the moments. Another guy lining up on MLB Network, Sean Casey, talked to him before coming out here. He's planning on coming on. We're trying to work on getting some of the managers. Maybe we get an insight with, I think a lot of people would be curious about the team over behind me here. Yeah. So can't get my, there we go.
And there was a Jim Thome sighting. He was very excited to see Ryan earlier this afternoon. So I'm sure we'll get maybe some content there with Jim Thome as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff going on here in winter meetings that we are super pumped about.
Yeah, Jim Duquette as well. That people saw when we did our Holy Shirts and Pants and channel members for Ripping the Good Kids did a live stream earlier. But we're live right now. We're live at the winter meetings. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Alvin, I think at this point, when we go live, if Santander Burns are taken, probably. Yeah. I think when there's big moves, we're going to try to give you guys an instant reaction when we can.
Yeah.
It really just depends on what we're doing. If we're in the middle of something, if I'm in the middle of interviewing a manager, then it might be a little bit problematic to say, excuse me, or they might join in on the conversation, to be honest. And Laura, this is, maybe this might be in the works. So I think regardless, our job is to give you guys the insights. And if you've been following our channel here for a while, we've been pretty spot on with what we're talking about. I personally thought the Mets was going to be the move. And I also then, since being kind of right with that thought process, thinking the Orioles were going in a different direction with Santander, which they did. I don't want it to be right for Orioles fans, but I still have an inclination that he's going to end up with a rival team, Santander, in the American League East. I have a better feeling Corbin Burns, though, Brad, differently. I still don't think he comes to the American League East. I think a guy like Max Fried might enter that conversation, which would be very interesting to see. We're going to hear more and try to get our ears to the ground, boots on the ground. We are boots on the ground to what's happening.
Yeah.
So, but for right now, the Juan Soto deal is done. It is over. Juan's popping bottles in back home, which he should,
A lot.
and he can afford a lot more bottles. So, that's just kind of the reality here. And also for people to understand, I know people would be devastated for Santander going somewhere else,
Especially the Yankees.
but the reality is, unless Santander was re-signed before the 2023 season, he was going to play it out. And then on top of it, he rolls to a fantastic offensive season. It was very, very interesting to see. So, and this is another guy. So Connor, thank you, by the way. Appreciate you.
Connor.
Thank you. This would be nice when we have like our actual setup tomorrow and we look more professional.
Yeah, the real cameras are coming out tomorrow.
It's just when you think about what the stuff we had to do to get ready and what was going on, it's hard to get everything situated. But if the Mets don't sign Alonso, will they go after Vlad? I'll tell you this. If you guys were thinking that the Mets were going to slow down, think again. I mean, now they have Clay Holmes. They have they just obviously signed Soto. You already have a nucleus in a team, and they got Frankie Montas. Actually, a lot of former Yankees. Lindor is already your captain of that team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what Alonso's going to do. I think that one is a very interesting one here, but this is why we're here.
It surprised me if Alonso went back to the Mets.
Yeah, it wouldn't at all. It wouldn't at all. But the Vlad situation, I think to go back to that last part. And again, thank you for loving the show, Connor. We love you.
Appreciate you.
I think the Blue Jays want to see who they could get in the market first, right? If they're able to get a big name, that could change the dynamic. They do have some young stars, Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., and they have a roster when you look at it and go, damn, this team could still be good, but they haven't put it together. They've been in limbo. They did trade away Kikuchi in the last trade deadline. So we're going to have to figure out what's happening here. But there's a lot to
determine if the Blue Jays are buyers or sellers right now. And that's kind of been, I feel like, the theme over the last season and a half or so.
Yeah. I mean, oh God. It has been a theme, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing.
Well, so here's the thing. For Toronto, when you're in that limbo stage where you got to kind of go, I don't want to say you have to go all in, but you have two guys, your chips, your pieces.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette's value is a little bit down for how he played last year. Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s value is up, but what's his peak? So if you're thinking about what the peak value is going to be, there's a lot of teams out there that would want to make a move for him. Sure. But then do the teams have what they'd want to acquire that player? Because you have to give up a lot of chips. You got to give up something to get something. We found that out.
Yeah.
So really is going to be interesting overall here. I think my gut tells me for at least going into this season, Vlad, Bo, they're going to stay with the Blue Jays to continue to be aggressive. And if it's not a good start to this season, the Blue Jays are going to finally make a decision and say, okay, we're going to move on. But they are willing to spend. They're willing to spend, which is the key here. And I think that people need to understand that that's going on. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. So if you guys are new to us, we're based out of Baltimore, but we cover football when it's the fall. But then baseball is always going to be our backbone. We cover a lot of things in Baltimore, obviously around the Orioles, but we cover baseball in general. I mean, stop traffic, Brad. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here at the winter meeting. So, my background, obviously been around the game for a while, played in the Orioles organization, started my career at the Nationals. And yeah, whether I liked baseball or not, Brad, I was going to know this game growing in and out. So the intuition here, and I think the cool part, Brad, for us, this isn't I don't care about being right. I try to just give the best insight that we can for our group. No, for our group, and I think that's something that
we're not the insiders, right? Like we're not the breaking the news isn't our shtick.
Right. And we could at times. We could have broken some things, but
we could have.
But the thing is, when we give you information and even future information that we're talking about, there is some basis behind that. And I think that's what we want to talk about, right? So again, I want to be wrong about Santander, but your mind's telling me no, but your body's telling you yes, But actually, in this case, my mind and body are telling me no. We're way off the tracks here, guys. We've been here for a long damn time, dude. So it has been an early run.
5:30 Eastern.
We might be here until 1 or 2 in the morning. Hell, if something happens again, you might see us pop back up. That's just
nobody's going to bed anytime soon after this news breaking. And there's 2 bars over there. And
we're gonna go check out to make sure that the alcohol is fine.
It has to be good.
We're doing this for you.
Yeah. It's called due diligence.
Due diligence. This is how you learn how the business works. But actually, you know what I love about this, and this is what we're going to try to enhance more in the 2025 year for us baseball, is the relationships and the connections really matter. So I'm going to do my best to give you more of the insights on that, and we're going to do our best of having that storytelling that goes along with the moments, because those are where you get the good stuff. Like us being in there and hearing stories of what's happened in the past winter meetings, how crazy and chaotic things can get.
Just in this building, by the way.
In this building alone. But also, you give context to how organizations run. So I'm really excited right now, which we're hoping to talk with people with the Minnesota Twins and Cleveland Guardians. Why? You might think, why, Ryan? Well, those are 2 organizations when you look at that are in similar situations to Baltimore. In Cleveland, I'd argue is very similar to Baltimore. Young nucleus, talented team with high upside, but they might be capped on market or value. Why? Because not everyone wants to go play in Cleveland, similar to what Baltimore has to deal with here. So excited about that. Maybe we'll have some rival divisions, rival teams come on and talk. So we'll see what happens in the future there. Laura, I don't understand how you've been to every single spot that we've ever seen.
We literally, after we signed off for their Holy Shirts and Pants stream, I literally said, I was like, Laura's just been everywhere. What haven't you done, Laura?
What haven't you done?
Hey, there's the man.
Oh, man.
It's Jim.
Yeah.
He's going to have a long night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can tell. Jim's been running around for a while there. Finally, it's done. Finally, it's done. We have a lot more what's going to be happening here in the future. But for now, guys, losing my train of thought. Been a day. Juan Soto to the New York Mets. And and similarly in some cases, in some fashions, which people got to understand. That's how we doing. Juan lives for the moment, and you're looking at what honestly also makes me wonder is, one, was it always for the money? It's still pretty close, $5 million-ish. Where did he want to be? And when you're looking at projecting what the Yankees were going to be, and for me, it's telling me as well, Juan was more excited with the fact of where the Mets are going and what he's being sold there than what's being sold with being on the New York Yankees, which, quite frankly, the American League East, the Orioles, even though people can be frustrated, young team that can make a lot of noise in the future. Boston will be back. But I wonder then, Brad, at what point, where's this window? That's kind of where I look at where for the Yankees, because Aaron Judge is in his 30s, mid 30s, here. How long is he going to play after it all happens? And then on top of it, what's the long-term effect here? This Mets feeling and team feels like the window is going to be open for a longer period of time with the players that they have.
Well, and the Steve Cohen's got the money to do it, and that once he took over the team, you knew that he obviously throwing money at the team wasn't going to solve all of its problems. But I think once Steve Cohen figured that out, it was like, it's about where I put this money. like money was never a problem for him.
No.
It was just putting it to the right players, putting the right pieces in place. And so the problem with the Yankees, I think, is to what you're saying as far as like Aaron Judge now being the best player on that team is now in his 30s. They don't really have a whole lot of young talent. And we actually talked to some of our friends from Yankees, fan base platforms about this issue with the Yankees and their farm system and the depth that they have isn't quite there. So you could almost make the argument if the Yankees don't go out and spend some big money on some big time players, that they're going to be in this rebuild mode maybe for the next 3 to 5 years. I think it could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I think it could happen based off of their roster right now.
Yeah. And I also think, Brad, to looking at it, can go two ways for these Yankees' next few moves. It's going to be really telling what they do, right?
Yeah.
Because if they go out and now use that money that they would have used for Soto,
Yeah.
and they go and get 2 or 3 guys that are high end and that can fit the profile and they're younger, like that's why I'm really curious what's going on with a Max Fried as a pitcher. We're saying Corbin Burns, why he's a top end type of guy, so you want to figure out what's going on. Hey, Ryan. Hi, Kelly. How are you? We're doing a little live right now, but it's okay. But are you going to be around for a while?
Yeah, I'm here till Wednesday.
Well, we're here till Wednesday too, so I'll message you. We'll try to catch up.
Sounds
All right. See ya.
Welcome to the winter meeting.
You run into a lot of people here.
Yeah.
So
We're in a very high traffic area.
It's a great opportunity to meet people literally as it goes. That's how it's going to be here. But
Just a little. Jabo says the Yankees don't rebuild. I mean, the Yankees version of rebuilding. I'm not talking about blowing it all up and starting over. But what I mean is they kind of had that a little bit of a rebuild, quote unquote, stage after 09, right? And they've kind of been trying to figure that out ever since.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's going to be a smaller market type team type of rebuild. It's not going to be a Tampa Bay type of rebuild, but it's going to be the Yankees version of that.
Yeah, and the thing I'll say for the New York, though, these next few moves that they can make, the New York Yankees can be top contenders in the AL this year, but it's looking at long-term plan. Like when you look at the Dodgers of what they've invested and where their superstar talent is, they're going to be very good and favorites for this year, the following year, the year after.
Yeah.
So long as those guys stay healthy. The Mets, they're in a division with the Phillies, who is going to continue to spend money, and the Phillies are going to kind of have to be in that similar spot at some point here. So it's just a good situation that we can see what's happening.
I'm with you, Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, Rubenstein came in here and just couldn't spend the money.
Yeah, unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So, but one name's off the books, the one that we all expected first and
that's
foremost.
Half of the money that the Orioles were bought for, by the way.
So Juan Soto is half owner of the Baltimore Orioles at this
half
point.
of the Orioles right now.
And you know what, Jabo, maybe that's also in the books. But also, I want to say when I do some of these conversations, maybe we have had conversations about certain things. So,
and he is going to be here. I think he's coming in tomorrow. Elias.
Yes.
Hyde will be here. I think
Hyde's already here, I believe.
He's already here. Okay.
Yeah. So I think like Aaron Boone's coming in tomorrow.
Yep.
So a lot of people are coming in, and it will be good. And Laura, we can touch way more on this tomorrow. I have a hard time seeing that because of just, again, value and the teams that, like Yankees being one that didn't get him, and Boston hasn't made a splash yet.
Right.
It feels like one of those guys is going to go to Boston or New York. I think they're going to be, and Max, it would make sense. Now he's a San Diego guy, so going out west isn't out of the realm of possibilities. But so you're going to have to see what's going to happen with Max Fried. You're going to have to see what's going to happen with Sasaki, even though Sasaki, the out west part, still is very intriguing to him. So there's so many other things, and we can kind of go on all of that. And this is a possibility too. Teoscar to a big market. Now that Michael Conforto signed with the Dodgers, it makes you wonder if they don't want to spend a bigger amount of money on Teoscar. He's a great fit for them.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Teoscar going to play in Boston at Fenway would be unbelievably good. And Mitty Raw, if you're just joining, appreciate you joining. This is what we've been talking about here with Juan Soto now gone. That's our prediction.
Yeah.
We do believe that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't, but it just makes all the sense in the world. All the sense.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, blame Brad, blame Zach, obviously, and we'll work on this. I got to try to catch up with Juan.
Really, yeah.
Blame Rocco. That's what we really need to do. Hey, of course, and we're live here at the winter meetings. For those that also don't know, so we'll be live here later on. We'll be live here tomorrow and Tuesday multiple times. So I think that's all we're gonna write here. We'll get into this way more. I know the Cubs are willing to shop. That's been in the market, but we'll have to discuss that way more. And also talking about players' psyche and being different in different places. I know Cody had a really good start with the Dodgers, but then he had some really big struggles and he had to find himself. And it felt like Chicago was a perfect place where team wasn't expecting to be the top dogs and it allowed Cody to find himself. You go to New York, everything's amplified again. It doesn't necessarily his ability obviously could play in New York, but it's more than ability going to the New York Yankees. But they're going to look at all different possibilities. And we'll see how it all goes here. And so, guys, I think that kind of does it for a little impromptu stream. We had a lot of people kind of tuning in, which is great.
Yeah.
At midnight almost. So appreciate you guys.
Sunday.
I don't know what Kevin and Zach Reacts are doing. We just want to do it because we're here and we appreciate you guys. So we thought we'd do a little thing. Now I'm going to go check to make sure the mezcal is safe for the rest of the winter meetings. So guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We will comment later. Message us on X at Own the Chaos, at Ryan Ripken Show, and check out the Discord. You guys are popping off in the Discord talking about it. But tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be here at the winter meetings until Wednesday. All right, guys. Appreciate you.
See ya.
See ya.